live. So here we go. Hi, I'm Heather Corbet. I'm a medium and spiritual advisor, and these are the VIP experts. So I'm so excited to have these incredible ladies. I've known each and every one of them like so long. I was just tearing up as we were coming on, just being able to witness their journeys, how long I've known them. And I feel like too, just really witnessing like how dedicated each and every one of these ladies are to their spiritual path. It just, I keep getting teary. And so I'm excited to be able to share with you the VIP experts. So VIP is stands for very intuitive person. And so some people will ask like, well, what if I'm not a very intuitive person? Well, I think you are a very intuitive person. And so with that, we'd love to have you so that we can really further assist you and support you in being able to heighten your spiritual connection. And so in VIP, we have 12 courses. It's the crystals course, psychic skills, channeling, archangels, clairs, old souls, auras, clearing, manifestation, synchronicity, meet your main guide. And also next week, we start your soul essence. And so it's interesting because I think some of you have been here like since the beginning. So it's kind of interesting to be like, wow, we have all these courses now. And so I am just so thrilled to be able to introduce the VIP experts. So I kind of have you all in like the Brady Bunch grid. So I'm just going to go ahead and let you know that Megan is first, then Veronica, Kirstie, Erin, and Holly. So Megan, without further ado, go ahead and introduce yourself. Hi, Meg.
Okay. Hi, I'm Megan Heldens. I'm an American, but I live in the Netherlands, and I have known Heather for a few years now, and I came to Heather to learn Reiki. So because of Heather, I am a Reiki master teacher. And what else can I say? Yeah, and I really love Reiki. It's changed my life. And I also, for VIP, I work a lot with angels and affirmations. So those are sort of my areas of my passions in life. So yeah.
Wonderful. Oh, it's great to see you, Megan. I love that.
Yeah.
Yay. And then Veronica.
Hi, I'm Veronica Doleman, your wandering guide, because I never know where I'm going or where I'm ending up. That's my spiritual journey in a nutshell. I've known Heather, I think, 4 years, I think in February sometime. So it's been a long time, it feels like. We've gone through lots of things. My favorite thing about VIP, I think, is, oh my gosh, the community. I like just knowing that if I ever need insights or I want to share my gifts, I can just easily go on there and share my insights. And how I like to do that is I really like Oracle and Tarot cards and pendulum and some claircognizance thrown in there as well.
Nice. Perfect. Oh, I love it. I love this too, because I'm like having all these flashbacks and memories of all of you, like where we met and, you know, what you've contributed to VIP and that type of thing. So I'm like, oh, look at us all. So it's awesome. Thank you for being here, Veronica. And Veronica has a baby on board too. So there's an extra VIP expert on board. So Kirstie, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Kirstie Harlin. I've known Heather, I thought it was 5 years because David had passed 5 years in March, and it was shortly after that. But anyways, so after a loved one passed, I wanted to be as close as I could. Loved Heather's Spirit Circle, did that, did it every month, became part of VIP. But then I took Heather's mediumship course, and I have since found out that I'm a medium and do really well. And one of my specialties is mediumship is I can connect with celebrities. So yeah, and then I run in on Sundays in my own group. I have coffee and spirit. So I do oracle card pulls on Sundays.
Wonderful. I love it. So what's your favorite thing about VIP?
Oh, it's Spirit Circle, you know, and I took over running the Spirit Circle for you, you know, because it's not just me now wanting to connect with spirit. I love helping other people connect their loved ones to spirit.
That's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's so neat too, Kirstie. Again, I just keep having these flashbacks of how I know you all, like what you're doing. And I know Veronica's also, she's running the practice and check-in, which thank you for doing that, Veronica. She's been doing that for a number of months, maybe over a year even. It feels like. And so with that, I just really appreciate, those of you stepping forward and being able to contribute to VIP. And I have been sharing with people who are wanting to join us in VIP, like, hey, we got these experts here and they're so willing to help. And just like you said, Kirstie, just being able to facilitate other people on their path. So thank you for doing that. I feel like too, that we all kind of operate from our hearts. It just feels like that, like, okay, I want to do this because I want to help others to be able to, heighten their spiritual connection. I want them to be able to be on the path as well. So cool. Thanks, Kirstie. And so I just had like this little flash, like you started with spirit circles. Now you're running them in VIP. Like, get it, girl. That's awesome. Erin Stabile. Hello.
Hello. So I am Erin Stabile. Intuitive alchemist is kind of where I'm landing right now. I'm not really sure. Seems to shift, but Spirit's really been pushing the alchemy and alchemist part for me lately. So I met Heather, let's see, 4 years ago, 2018, February. So actually like this time. And I really started having one-on-ones with Heather, and then I joined VIP, and we really talked a lot about my chronic pain because I had severe chronic pain, and I was just like, she's like, well, maybe Reiki, and I'm like, well, can you teach it over, online, because we don't live anywhere near each other, and she's like, I don't know, I gotta ask Spirit, and then she came back later, she's like, yeah, I can. So I started with Heather's, all of her Reiki, which kickstarted my whole spiritual journey, really, mediumship. Then I did all of the mediumship classes with Heather. And I've been in VIP since then. So, for me, VIP, I really at first did everything. And then I soon learned that I need to do what Spirit's telling me, and I don't need to do it all. So instead of doing every course as it was, then I started to just do the courses that I felt called to at the moment. So the good thing about VIP is you can go back for the last 4 years and pull whatever you want. So, and Heather and Kirstie and Veronica and Holly, we all started kind of with the spirit circles. So that was like one of my favorites of really just getting that experience, and just having that private place to do it, because mediumship and connecting to spirits is a scary thing. So you don't want to be judged, and it's hard enough anyway. So we started kind of with those spirit circles, which is pretty cool that they're still kind of going. And I love that I filled in for Kirstie for one of them, and it was pretty cool. So it's just a nice place where you can ask questions. And let's face it, if you're in the spiritual world, it's not like you can post all that stuff out on your normal Facebook. So it's nice to have a private place to ask those questions.
I appreciate you saying that too, because I feel like there's times too that people are just wondering, like, where can I go to be able to practice this, or to be able to talk about it, just to share, like, gosh, I've been seeing the angel numbers. What does that mean? Or, how do I incorporate this, or how do I apply this? So just having that space. And again, I'm just having those like flashes of memories and whatnot. And it's funny, like some of our first one-on-ones, I think just because we've been in various past lives together, Erin, like, do you remember I would like laugh? I would just like start giggling, and I'm like, Erin, oh my gosh, Erin, like I just start laughing. And I think it was just like, we had this like connection, in other past lives and whatnot. And so it's wonderful to have you here. And it's really neat to witness your journey. And I love it. I love where you're landing right now. That sounds perfect. So
Joel's been coming in, which is weird, because he's coming in for me, not for you. I'm like, what the hell do you want? I don't exercise. What do you want from me? And he's like, it's time. And I'm like,
oh,
Kyle.
Right. Oh, that's fun. So yeah, Joel is one of my friends, and he's in spirit, and he comes in with 848 or sometimes 314. That's his birthday. And so yeah, that's funny that he's coming in for you. He came in for me just like a couple days ago with exercise too. So that's really funny. But yeah, I love it. That's
throwing
awesome.
Cheeseburgers at me, I guess. That's the start.
That sounds like Joel.
He's always squatting down like the coach. I'm like, that's not going to motivate me.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh, I love it. Oh, wonderful. Thanks for being here, Erin. How about Holly Halls? Holy moly toly, girl. Hi, Hi.
Oh my goodness. I just came home from actually spending time with spirit and nature out paddling. So I'm feel just really connected. I'm grateful. I've been following. I don't even know the right words to say. It's that kind of a spiritual day. I have been working with Heather for almost 5 years. This April will be 5 years. Holy bejeebus. Heighten Your Spiritual Connection, when it was in its very, very, very beginning little stages. And before VIP, I took your mediumship courses. I think we did some one-on-ones a little bit, and then I went straight into the mediumships, all of them. And then have worked with you in spiritual advising. I've done your retreat. We actually didn't meet in person. We were 6 minutes apart from each other when we first met online. She doesn't normally live that close to me at that time, right? But we didn't actually meet in person till retreat in Colorado a couple of years ago. I don't remember, timeframes are all kind of lost and relative, but it's just been amazing to work with you and grow with you. I love all the gifts, and VIP has been such a safe place to hone in those gifts, to have a spiritual family when you need a hug, because let's face it, sometimes you're not seen and heard by everyone, especially when you have special gifts or can feel certain things that other people can't see, feel, or believe. So it's really, it's a place that feels like home when I hadn't had a place to feel like home. And really working with Heather has been such a thing. I'm a growth coach, and I like to help people grow through what they go through. And Heather was a catalyst for that, because when I didn't trust myself or believe in myself, and I'm struggling with my mental health, I believed in spirit. Spirit's actually been guiding me through a lot of my trauma healing, and finding spirit through Heather, learning how to safely navigate that. So many people are scared to connect with spirit. A lot of people come to me lately sharing their scarcities of spirit, but the more they learn to trust themselves and their gifts of being powerful enough, and the gifts that already exist within, I will be speaking on the 22nd more about that topic in Heighten Your Spiritual Connection. Just a little plug there. But the gifts already exist within, and that safety begins within. But Spirit really gave me that opportunity because of working with Heather and learning how to be safe with the gifts I already have, and to trust that we're never wrong. One of my favorite things about Heather that she teaches is that you're never wrong. What you feel and what you believe is yours to believe it, and trust in yourself, and to always be an observer. So begin by being curious is always one of my favorite things, the curiosity. So those are just my favorite things.
I love that, Holly. Thank you. That's beautiful. Yeah. Oh my goodness. We all go like way far back. It's just blowing my mind right now. But yeah, Holly was sharing, I was at a mastermind down in California, and, she had reached out to me. She saw me in a Facebook group. Somebody had tagged me, and she had just lost her best friend and slash sister, Kristen, right? And so it had somehow reached out to me. We got in touch, and we were 6 minutes away and had absolutely no idea. So I flew back to Idaho. She continued life in California. And then we realized just how close we were. So yeah, we didn't meet until 3 years later, maybe, at the Colorado retreat. Right? Yep. Okay. Yeah. So in person. Yeah. And so I love that too, because you said you just got, back in from nature doing your, spiritual connection. And we had quite a bit of that nature spiritual connection in Colorado too. So that's really awesome. Yeah. I was thinking about this too, like Veronica and Erin were in Sedona for retreat. So I need to meet Megan and Kirstie in person. I have to. But would love for you all, if you feel comfortable, just to take yourselves off mute and let's start vibing. So I feel like, a huge part of why I wanted to bring the VIP experts together is because there's so many people on the planet that are experiencing their spiritual awakenings and really not having that support, or not, having, let's say, people to talk to about it. And so I feel like with that, there's just this incredible ascension that's happening. And so I honestly want to just say and share that I really trust every single one of these ladies. And I feel like that's why they're here. I would go to any of them looking for insights or looking for direction or, just looking for support. And so I feel very humbled and honored that they're all here. And I feel, I'd love to be able to share either our spiritual awakenings or whatever kind of comes to any of you, whatever's being channeled through you or what you're inspired to share. And I feel like for me, my spiritual awakening happened, oh goodness, I'm going to date myself, but a little over, I think it was 22 years ago. And so with that, I I just had a breakup with a boyfriend and my life was over. And then was kind of coming to my spirituality, opening up, learning about the chakras, because back then you didn't say it out loud. And so it's just really amazing to see how things have evolved. What really kind of helped me even more in my spiritual awakening and in mediumship was when my cousin had passed in a pretty tragic car accident at night. He was 17 and I was 22. And with that, I just remember going to where he had perished the day after and being just grief stricken. And I just remember getting down on my knees and just crying out, like, please just send me an angel, send me an angel. And all of a sudden this random man on a bike in a backcountry road, comes riding down, kind of lifts me up, prays with me, prays over the crash site, and is on his way. And I was like, was that my angel? Like, was that an angel? And I just remember meditating a year later, and my cousin came to me and bumped noses with me. First time I'd ever seen, him on the other side. And it was really beautiful because I was like, did you send me an angel? And he's like, yep. And then he was away. He left. But I feel like with that's kind of my beginnings, but I feel like with spiritual awakening, how interesting, and this maybe isn't always the case, but it seems to be some kind of tragedy. It seems to be kind of down to our knees or something along those lines. So I'd love for anybody to share, what was your spiritual awakening like? I'd just like to open up the mic, anybody that wants to jump in.
Heather, I'm chuckling here because for me, it wasn't something tragic. My closet came alive. My closet would light up. I would be really uncomfortable as a kid. Nobody could explain it. And I always could see something more and feel something more than everyone around me. I'd shut it down several times. Spirit would always bring it back. When I was 14, listening to Conversations with God tapes. And I remember getting my first card deck, graduating high school. Like, I just always had this, telling my best friend that I could see her soul. And at a young age, like, I just had this gift and I couldn't shake it. And it wasn't something tragic. It just was like an itch I couldn't scratch, but my trauma continued to bury it further and further and further. And PTSD and anxiety and depression and just not feeling worthy or enough. Well, those were moments I felt inauthentic. Like, now that I can sit here and look back in the safety of my own containered space, because Spirit had provided these signs, animals, numbers, synchronicities. Like, I can't even begin to tell you the synchronicities I felt today, just in that time of like, when we sink back into ourselves and find that safety within. But it was like, connecting to Spirit was how I got there. But it started with my closet coming alive and freaking me out.
Well, I love that too, Holly, that it may not be necessarily like tragedy. And it's interesting, just as well, myself having gifts as a child and just kind of turning them off. And it almost feels like in some ways it may have been, like you said, something about the trauma that you were going through seemed to bury the spirituality. Is that what you said?
Yeah, bury that safety to be your authentic self of like, I see this, I feel this, I know there's something more here. It's all those clairs. Your clairs are turned on at a very early age. Children, if you're a parent, you may notice this with your children, and they're very intuitive and so it makes me think about, oh, I probably had it, but a lot of times our parents don't know about it. So those of you that are parents that are out there doing this for yourself and connecting with yourself, I think that's the beauty of VIP as well, is like that safety, to find that safety as a parent, as a person, to know you're not crazy. And as you see that might become alive for your children, that it's safe for them as well. And you can provide that safety. So it's just a beauty of totality that you're really providing for people in VIP, and just as we all awaken.
Yeah, for sure. And thank you for bringing that forward. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the tricky thing is that some of us who did have gifts as a child, we maybe didn't have the support or, that type of thing. And so it's almost like here's this new wave. And I feel like that's why I like the Star Children course and how it funneled out, because it was almost just like, are you a star child? And then also witnessing and looking at like, are your children star children, or are your nieces and nephews or your grandkids, are they star children, and just being able to support them as well. So thank you, Holly. That's super helpful. Anybody else want to share about their spiritual awakening or something that comes up to
Yeah, for me, it was similar. As a child, I was weird. I remember my weird dreams starting about 2 or 3. I remember my anxiety starting at 2 or 3. And I remember never feeling alone, never feeling safe, never being able to sleep. I didn't know what it was. I just thought I was like just a paranoid kid. But for me, the trauma, the pain, the death of my mom at a young age, it wasn't really until I was 39 that I had gastric sleeve surgery. And then I met Heather I just remember writing when I was recovering, like, I'm done. I need to change my fucking life. I can't do it anymore. Because I hated my life. I was miserable. I was unhappy. And for me, I think that spiritual awakening was that choice of, okay, you finally hit the last rock bottom before you're actually going to do something. And I met you probably within a couple of weeks of that, I think, Heather. So, pretty quickly, I did one-on-one with you. And very quickly after that, I started Reiki. So really, for me, my spiritual awakening just exploded by my choice of finally, not that I hadn't tried therapy or medication or a million other things to feel better and to heal, but nothing ever worked for me. And I just given up on life, and for me, what my spiritual awakening and my spiritual work and connecting to spirit and past lives and all the things that I do has allowed me to truly heal. So that's like how I like to use my gifts, is connect people to spirit, help them really heal. I'm not a therapist, I'm not a doctor, but it's just that helping to empower people to know that, because I grew up Catholic too, so I was petrified of spirit. So that's probably part of why I didn't really understand what was happening, because you're going to be damned according to the Catholic Church. You're going to hell if you whatever. And I never felt connected to God until I broke away from the Catholic Church. And then when I started Reiki, like all of it started to make sense. I'm like, okay, I don't have to be religious. I'm not going to hell. And it was just, for me, it was just this process of, I had lots of tragedy in my life, but that wasn't really what technically kickstarted my spiritual awakening. So, it was more of a choice of, yeah, we all hit rock bottom and we all have our things, but is it going to destroy me, or am I going to keep moving forward and try to figure it out? So I finally found the thing that worked for me.
Yeah, I applaud you, Erin. I applaud you. I know your story. I know where you've been and your life and whatnot. And I just think, wow, like it almost like makes me kind of teary, and same with Holly as well, with just, hearing your stories and hearing what you've been through. And then I just feel so honored that I was able to meet you like at that moment, and to be able to really, I guess, if anything, I appreciate you reaching out and me reaching back, if that makes sense. Like, okay, we got this. Let's get you where you got to go, So I just applaud you for saying this, I'm going to actually allow this not to destroy me. I'm going to move forward on my path, and look where you are now. Like, it's absolutely incredible. I just think about everything that you've done in your life, since age 39. And I just think, wow, okay, she just took off, so that's awesome. And I think, you really bring up a good point about healing. Like, the spiritual journey just helps us with that healing, so.
And I think a lot of people have that misconception that your spiritual awakening is this beautiful thing. It's fucking hard. It's painful. It's hard. But it's beautiful at what you get out of it. I'm not old Erin anymore. I get to be new Erin with hope and dreams and purpose and life. And yes, you go through these periods and your cleanses and all of these things, but it no longer destroys me like it used to. Like, okay, you process it, you sit with it for a couple of days, and then you're like, okay, let's clear it, let's move on. But before, you just stayed stuck in it. Before my awakening, I stayed stuck. Days, weeks, months, my depression, my anxiety, my panic, ruled my life. 2 o'clock in the morning, oh my God, did I do this? 3 o'clock in the morning, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Now it's like, fuck it, I don't care. I'll figure it out.
That's awesome. Fuck it. That's what your spiritual awakening can do for you, right? No, I just say fuck it. It's good. I love it. Thanks, Erin. Megan or Kirstie or Veronica, did you want to share?
Sure,
I'll go
I
ahead.
can. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Megan.
No, go ahead.
So I would say I didn't think I had any gifts as a kid. My sister could see, she'd have dreams that people passed the night before they passed. My mom had seen aunts and other people, like they'd pass, and my mom would see them. They'd come visit her and stuff as they pass. Nothing. Now I was recently remembering the house we lived in. My room was the one room nobody would sleep in. They're saying something's in her room. It never bothered me a bit at all. And so, but I've let that go, and I just sort of never thought anything about it. It's just, whatever. And so then when my big thing was when David passed, my boyfriend passed, we weren't together at that point, but at the same time, he passed of a heart attack, and it just devastated me. And it has been 4 years, not 5 years, but at the same time, I needed a connection. So then I started doing the spirit circle. Then I did some one-on-ones with you, Heather. And the one thing that always stuck with me, and it is my go-to, it works no matter what. And it's to know that whatever your first thought is, go with it. If you go with second or third, you're probably going to be wrong. Anytime I second guess it, I'm wrong. So I go with my first thought, and that's what works. And then I had sort of in my safe space with this group of ladies, I was able to say, hey, I think I talk to celebrities. I said, told you guys about, I'm driving down the road, I'm listening to the Eagles, and all of a sudden this voice goes, you can't sing. And I'm going, I know. And it was because it was Glenn Fry. And it was something about it's just that knowing, and you're trusting what you're getting. And right within that moment, too, another celebrity stepped in that I would have never expected. And I was going, there's something to this, because I wouldn't have had this person come in. And it was Mel Tillis, and he had a stuttering problem but he could sing with no problem. But the question to spirits are, why did you pass early? They usually have passed before they were supposed to. And Mel Tillis sits there and he says to me, he goes, I was old, geez. And I'm like, okay, sorry, dude.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love it.
But after I had lost David, your heart's broken. You just don't feel like you're ever going to come out of it. And I was really missing the love that we had and stuff. And I had 3 different instances of him coming through. And it was the day after he passed. And you guys have heard the story, but this is for everybody else. It's like 5 a.m, early spring, sun's just coming up, and I keep hearing this this thing on my window downstairs, and it's waking me up. And I keep trying to ignore it because I'm just sad, I'm depressed. And next thing I know, it just keeps going. I finally was like, God damn it. I go downstairs and I look and I see this robin hitting my window next to my fireplace. And I'm looking at it and I go, you stupid bird. Like, why are you running in my window? Next thing, so my living room wall's here, and you go around the corner and there's my slider. That bird flies around to the slider, takes its talons, and it's trying to hit the door, like it's trying to get in again, drops down. And I was like, what? And then I go, oh, because I was still new to, spirits and signs and things like that. I go, it's you. it's David. You're telling me you're here. And so then I went down the wall, which is my kitchen, and my coffee pot is right next to my kitchen window, and my gate to my fence is right out that window. And that robin goes and sits on that fence, and it looks at me for a little bit, and then I'd say a good 30 seconds or more, and then it flew off. And robins have since been my know that David's around type of thing. You know. And I had a little boy in this grocery store. He walked away from his mom, and he came over to me as I'm stocking chips. And so I'm knowing to get down on his level. And he literally comes up, and he just had the face of just pure love and innocence. I've not even experienced it that way before. He comes in and he goes to kiss me on the lips, and I'm like, I'm a stranger. So I go to give him my cheek, and he wouldn't take it. He came and he kissed me on the lips. And his mom goes, he does that all the time. And I go, oh. And then he's pulled back, he smiled, and he gently just walked back to mom. And I go, that was a sign, you know. And then when another celebrity, so again, it's another day, I'm thinking about David, and I'm putting my chips away and stuff on the shelves. And I had finally come back to you guys, and I go, do spirits flirt? And you guys go, yeah, they do. They do. And I'm like, well, this is what's happening to me. I go, I'm seeing Glenn Fry, and he's telling me, like, if he'd ever met me, he would have never let me go. And he like I see myself in the back of like a concert hall, and we're done, and he's like grabbing my hand, and he's just dragging me along, like to get out, you know. But it's like that, he's got a good hold on my hand, and I'm going, and he goes, I would never let you go. And I'm like, what in the world?
Kirstie, I love that. And it was neat to see as you were flourishing, like how all of a sudden the celebrities started coming to you. And I just feel like it's like a muscle. I mean, you're gonna just keep building it. And I love hearing your stories, just because it's neat to be able to see like how you stepped in and how you aligned. And who would have thought, like after your first spirit circle, if all of a sudden these celebrities were going to come to you like a year or two later, and I love what you share too. I mean, I just get a sense like when we do go through some of those darker times, and then all of a sudden we get the signs, or we get, birds tapping on the window and that kind of thing. And I feel like too, like just having a space to be able to say, hey, this happened to me, and to have people support you for that, and to be able to, really affirm that as well. Like, yep, that sounds like, it was David that was visiting, which is beautiful. And I think that we all have, these different signs and whatnot throughout the day that we're experiencing, and it's just becoming aware of them, And so I'm glad that you shared that, just so more people can, become aware of them. I'd love to hear from Megan. Poor Megan, it's like 2 a.m. over in the Netherlands, and she's joining us. And
I'm sorry.
I know. I'm just like,
No,
Megan.
Okay.
Praise you, girl. Thanks.
Should have made you go first so you could go to bed.
I know. Seriously, like, come on, guys. Go ahead, though. I'd love to hear from you.
Oh, I'm just trying to think of how to do this, the short version. I've always been quote unquote awake, but that sounds weird, but I just always had weird dreams as a kid. I always believed in magic. There was no differentiation between magic and reality for me. It all kind of melded together. I just learned very quickly there's certain things we talk about and certain things we don't. And so I kind of shut down being able to communicate as a child, and I only really ever spoke when spoken to, because I just had so much coming at me all the time. And so cut to 10 years ago, I moved to the Netherlands. I meet my husband, and we moved to this apartment building that basically only 60 plus lived there. And I'd always heard things, seen things, always seen angels, always seen spirits, just kind of hanging around. I just kind of pretended I didn't see them and kept moving on with my life. And the downstairs neighbor, her husband died. So I'm walking through the underground car park. And what do I see? Full body apparition chilling in her car. And it was green. And he was just sitting there eating a donut, reading the newspaper. And I screamed. And my husband goes, what? And the man just kind of smiles and waves and then disappears. And I'm like in a full body sweat, shaking, looking around to make sure nobody's in the underground car park. And that's when I first started to see some of my guides. And they were like, well, this is going to keep happening until you either say yes or no definitively. And then it was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, yes or no to what? You know, and it was like, you've got stuff you've got to do. So it was like, so I always saw stuff in the periphery. I had a balcony and I would look and I would see like all these people like just hanging out, chatting and looking up at me, like just waiting for me. And I'm like, okay, this is weird. And, you know, my husband is very curious. So he'd be like, so what do you see? And I'm like, about 15 to 20 people outside waiting for me, you know, on the sidewalk. He's like, well, tell him you're busy. So anyway, I had several miscarriages, which was very traumatic. It was a very long process, but after these miscarriages, I met Heather and got introduced to several members in the spiritual community. And Heather, my guides always said, Heather is the one that will teach you Reiki. And I'm like, Reiki? Ray what? And so, so I just kind of threw myself into Reiki completely and totally, and really fell in love with it. And a year ago, I started my own spiritual business, mainly focusing on Reiki, but slowly people have come to me, and that's always been my journey. People come to me and tell me what they want, and I just tell them whether or not I can do it. So
yeah. That's beautiful, Megan. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. It's neat to hear your journey. And I feel like, you know, too, like, again, like having something happen as a child, and then almost too, like, I just feel like, you know, those of us who've had or have known we've had it as a child, like we kind of funnel our way in, like, okay, socially, I need to look like this. This is what I need to do. And I'm so glad. I just want to say, I'm so glad that you met your husband, because he feels very, very supportive. And like, what do you see? You know, like he's super curious. Like, what is it? And
his family's like, yeah, okay, whatever. And you know, they were just like, so they're like, so you believe in angels and stuff? And like, yeah. And they're like, and you don't do any like evil stuff? And I'm like, no. And they're like, okay, cool. Yeah, you know. So that was pretty much the conversation. Yeah.
I love that. I love it too, Megan, like just hearing you that you're guided and that you follow the guidance. And even as they were saying, you either have to say yes or no definitively. Like, I feel, I'm just assuming here, you said yes.
Yeah.
But it's neat to be able to experience and to see like how you're guided, and that you listen, you know. And I feel like, you know, kind of piggybacking on what Kirstie said too, and I noticed others were nodding their heads, like, go with that first thought, go with that first, you know, voice, go with the first, you know, inclination, go with that. And I've called it, if you go with the other one, I've called it the second thought phenomenon. And like, it's just, it's recognizing to trust that very first hit, you know. And yeah, I just feel really honored to be able to cross paths with you. It's really awesome. And I feel like there's just been different times too that you've asked various questions about your guides or this, that, whatever, and they are busy with you. I mean, there's times I think you shared like different things at night where I'm just like, oh my gosh, how do you sleep, girl? How do you sleep? They are busy.
Yeah, and I've learned a lot about boundaries, and I think that's a massive thing to learn just through life. Yeah, like they know as soon as I light that candle and say, okay, I'm in session, then everybody comes in. But when I'm living my day-to-day life and going to work and just trying to be me, they know to take a step back.
Yeah, just that protection, discernment or boundaries, which is so good. And I feel like a lot of times it's people with their spiritual awakenings, sometimes it gets exhausting or overwhelming. And so just witnessing and recognizing, absolutely, those boundaries are important. So I'm glad you've done that. So now you get a decent night's sleep, except for when you're doing a VIP expert live. But thank you. Oh, that's cool, Megan. I'm glad you're here. But we'd love to hear from Veronica about your spiritual awakening.
I was meant to go last because like as people were talking, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. But like for me, I've always been comfortable reaching out to other people, like especially as soon as I turned 18, like started going to psychics regularly just because I thought it was so interesting and loved writing down what they would tell me and then referring back to the notes. But I never viewed myself as someone having those gifts, and it was never brought up by them that that's a possibility that everyone kind of has something to offer. So for me, my spiritual awakening, I think, was that realization. My grandfather passed away, and I went and bought a card deck the day of, because I just went to wander alone and be in my grief, and found this Archangel Michael deck. And the first card I pulled was "Your loved ones are safe in heaven." I was like, oh my gosh, but like starting to realize that I could be a conduit for that as well. And that's kind of where it really took me. And I think that's what being in a group like VIP, because I found another spiritual teacher, but they were very like correction and no, you're wrong. Like, you got the answer wrong. Your pendulum's wrong. You're wrong. Like, it was always just like beating down and being like, if you don't get the exact answer, there's no way you're tapping in. Where Heather's approach was looking at the possibilities, realizing that space and time is a continuum. And, oh, that could be, this reason is probably why you got that hit instead of what I was thinking of in this moment, rather than shutting down. And I think that's what made the biggest difference, was having a teacher who Heather's never told me I've been wrong in anything. And not out of a, like, promoting me to be delusional, but I think in a way that, like, there's infinite possibilities, and acknowledging that we need those little breadcrumbs to help build our confidence. So I think that was the biggest thing for me.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's beautiful. It's interesting now that I'm thinking back. I almost feel like during one of the spirit circles, like your Opa came forward like so strong, so present. So like he's just kind of been there. I feel like I know I go way back with Opa. Like I just feel that. And your Opa's here. But that's neat that he was able to be helping you to recognize that you're a conduit, you know? And it's interesting. I'm trying to remember what it was. Maybe the 5 Days of Angels or something like that, that you won in Heighten Your Spiritual Connection. And you were super connected to Archangel Michael. I remember that because you had taken a trip, right?
Yeah, I have actually. I went to Greece, and they had a monastery that had, like, it's a gold foil painting. I was like, I need this. I don't know why. And then Archangel Michael coming through, and I was like, who is this? Like Googling it, and I'm like, oh my God, that's Archangel Michael. Who knew?
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, I love it too, Veronica, just because as you're sharing too, it's almost like those moments where you just kind of like, oh, great, you know, where it surprises us that we have like these gifts, or it surprises us that Archangel Michael is coming to us, or that type of thing. And I feel like spirit loves when we're surprised. Like I feel like they're just like, beep, you know, and I feel like each one of us kind of shared something about that, like that we're somehow surprised by spirit, or, you know, and I just get a sense like that's how they get our attention, you know, which is really awesome. I love that. I feel like, you know, we have about 10 more minutes, and I'd just love to hear, you know, I loved how Megan shared about the boundaries, and I feel like anybody can, you know, jump in, but what is like one of the most important things you've learned about your spiritual journey?
Fear will kill any type of spiritual connection.
Okay.
You don't protect yourself from spirit, from people, having your personal boundaries, your spiritual connection is going to be shit, because you're always wishy-washy and you're always questioning and you're afraid. So if you're afraid of spirit, you're going to have a hard time, really hard time. So like, to me, the number one thing you got to do when you start your spiritual journey, understand how to clear yourself and protect yourself. I mean, you have to have your personal boundaries, you have to have your work boundaries, you have to have family boundaries. Like, that is like the number one thing that's going to change your spiritual journey, because I really understood that when I finally got my protection and clearing down well, where I felt solid and my fear was gone, I started to understand that the anxiety, the panic, my heart racing, the many times I almost made my husband take me to the hospital because I thought I was having a heart attack, was other people's anxiety and not mine. So like, that protection and that stuff for me changed my anxiety, my panic, my depression in an instant, because I finally realized that I felt fine. And now I just talked to Juju and now I feel like shit. So like, what's going on? So like, that is like the number one thing that changed my anxiety, my panic. Yes, it's still part of me and who I am, but it's no longer in control because of my protection, because of the clearing, because of, you know, just those boundaries of spirit, boundaries of people. what I'm going to allow people to treat me like, what I'm going to, allow spirit, how I'm going to allow them to come in. And like that to me was the number one thing anybody doing their spiritual journey needs to like master right away.
Absolutely. Thanks for bringing that forward. Thank you so much. That's perfect. And, there's different times that I'll get somebody who's just opened up to their spirituality and they'll come in with anxiousness and that type of thing. And it's years upon years of not using boundaries or protection techniques. And they have all these like people's anxiety, like coming out of them. And then I'm like, okay, now after I've done this sweeping, clearing, protection, where are you at now? Oh, is that what I feel like? That's me. So I'm glad.
And you don't even know that it can be different. I mean, I had 39 years of spiritual dumping. Like people were always naturally drawn to me. So I absorbed people's bullshit for 39 years. Of course, you're going to feel like crap. You're going to have autoimmune diseases. Your chronic pain is going to be horrible. Like you're a virtual dumping ground for anybody's problems, basically.
Yeah, it kind of just seeps in. And I feel like too, like innocent. We're like, oh, okay, hey, I'm going to come to you. Like it's super innocent. So that's, in a lot of ways why we need to go ahead and kind of shield up, as empaths, as spiritists. Anybody else have advice for people on their spiritual journey? Megan?
I would just say, open up to just trusting the universe and, and I'm a super grounded person. So sometimes when something sounds cringy, I'm like, oh, but it's so true. When I opened up more to the fact that, sometimes I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'll just feel like everything's going to be okay. And I can create the future and the reality I want, for my best and highest good. And that's such an awesome feeling. Like I can't even, of course you're going to have lows, but just knowing that universal truth lives is just such a great feeling.
Did you feel before your journey, Megan, that was possible? Because I did not. Now, after my spiritual stuff, I know I can have and envision and do what I want. But did you feel that before your awakening? Because I did not.
As a child, yeah. And then life happened. And then I felt that I've spent years and years getting back to that openness and magic that I had as a child. I think. Beautiful. But yeah, really.
Megan, I love that you keep bringing that up too about being a child, because I just feel like, hey, all you all with kids out there, don't squash the magic. I'm glad that you brought that forward. Oh shoot, did we lose her?
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember Ethan talking at like 2 about when he was going to die and who he was in these lives, and I was like, what the actual fuck are you talking about? Like I didn't squash it because it was kind of before my stuff, and I was like, okay, well, I mean, it was elaborate for a kid that had problems with speech, and I was like, all right. But it is cool, like you said, Heather, that we get to shift that for our kids. Like my kids don't have to shut it off. They can embrace it if they choose, or
just be who they are. Yeah, absolutely. And Megan, when you were just talking about trust and trust with the universe, like, just witnessing that we do have an ability to be able to create our reality. I mean, we truly do. And
it's taken me years to get there. So I don't want people to feel like, you're just going to like be aware of spirituality and just be like, bam, everything's going to be amazing. But I just want people to know that it is possible and it takes a lot of work, but you can get there.
Yeah, I'm glad you say that too, because I feel like for me anyway, like the clearing and the cleansing and the, releasing and that type of thing, that's a huge part of spiritual growth, is being able to let go, that as soon as you said that, trust in the universe, I don't know if anybody else felt like this peace or this calm, like, oh yeah, it feels good. Anybody else want to share importance?
I feel like when you trust, like I had to trust that when I was, like I talked about the celebrities, the way that they talk to me is not the way I speak. So I had to go, oh, that's not me. That's a spirit talking to me, so they come in that way. So you trust that. I learned from Megan when she told me how she sets her boundaries. I've been able to tell other people to go, oh, I feel like so-and-so is coming in and it's so deep and hard. And then go, set a boundary with them. Tell them no, that they're not allowed to come in. I said, believe me, it's almost like a spiritual law. You get to tell the spirits what to do. They don't get to tell you what to do, because we have to live here. They're living over there. They cannot interrupt our life. So you set the boundary with them. And the more and more you get into that and you start seeing how other people are doing their spirituality, you pick up on certain things, and some things you incorporate, some things you don't, but and you find what works for you. But I love everybody's different gifts, because Megan, she does things in her own group, she does her spirit circle, but it's totally different, but I see how connected she is. Erin, you do the Akashic records, and you're probably the only one I know in this group that does them, Veronica has been great at doing cards. She's just so in tune which card needs to be pulled, what message is going to be, it just comes. Holly, she can just uplift everybody, help them get to the next level that they need, so we all have these great gifts that we can trust and learn from.
And I think that's a really good point, Kirstie, is that we're all unique and diverse and different, and I just feel like with that too, like we're meant to do that. We're meant to be that, the conduit, this unique matrix of that conduit to be able to share the gifts that are necessary for others. And that's a huge part of it too, trusting yourself, right? Trusting that this is how you're needing to be, and it's really neat too, because I just think it's so cool to see how everybody has created what they needed to from their spiritual path.
Yeah.
Holly or Veronica, did you want to share? And just fine if not, go ahead, Holly.
Grow with your flow, the flow of your pace, your life. Don't compare somebody else's spiritual path, spiritual journey, spiritual gifts, spiritual connectedness, awareness. Trust what you're receiving that is yours. You have your own unique blueprint and DNA, and your experience is not going to be the same as mine. You may, like Kirstie, received it differently than, as you heard, like we each receive it differently, but it's unique to you. And that's the beautiful gift.
Yeah.
That's the gift of it all. Grow with your flow, grow with your pace, grow with who you are. I have a saying of let grow, let go, like just be in the growing of your own life. You're your own tree, you're your own seed, you're your own beautiful creation. And then if you treat yourself that way and your spiritual journey that way, it will ripple and radiate out to everything you touch and every experience you have in the most beautiful, fluid way. I've received numbers for so long. I've received animals. The animals come to me now for Reiki. I'm an animal Reiki practitioner that just, I love the connection that I get through animals and the messages they bring me. I had so many vultures fly around me today, and to just trust Spirit has my back. And this is just like, it was thousands of vultures. And to trust that they're not going to poop all over me, or, you know what I mean? Or not dive bomb me and
Don't
take a chunk. They're like, I need a snack.
But that's,
there you go.
I put it, Heather taught me, you can put a spiritual bubble around you very easily. Go into, try it one day. Have fun with it. Play with it at the grocery store. Put a bubble around yourself of protection. Go into a grocery store, see what happens. It's like people run into it. So trust your journey. Trust the knowing. And when you feel scared, have a group of people, have growth friends or spiritual growth friends that help you grow through what you're going through. And you're not crazy for feeling what you're feeling or experiencing what you're feeling. It's you, and that's the gift. Lean into that. Find people you can trust. The VIP is always here. We got you. It's seriously a family. That's why I've stuck with it all these years. It's a family you can't get anywhere else. So thank you for this opportunity for us to connect, and each of one of you for your own unique gifts, because that's what I love, is like we each receive it differently. Your messages, all of our messages are each different. And that's the beauty in it. Find the beauty in the mess.
I love that. That's beautiful. Yeah. Thank you, Holly. Yeah. Thank you so much. I was just having a flashback, Holly, of one of our spiritual advising sessions. And I remember I was hiking and it's just so funny because I feel like I was always drawn to hike when I was on spiritual advising sessions with you. Like I was like, I have got to go to the woods. And that makes sense that you really connect with animals.
I was thinking today about that barefoot hike during the Colorado retreat when I hiked down barefoot, and it's trusting. Like that goes back to not only that trust with Spirit, but trust of yourself. When you're trusting of yourself, you're trusting in Spirit. And if you're struggling to trust yourself, maybe relying in Spirit first. Like Find something that you can trust and believe in, and start with the first step. It doesn't have to be a whole elephant that you believe in. You can believe in just the hoof, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Just start with the itty bitty steps, and that consistently over time will build the results that you're desiring.
I love that, Holly. Yeah. And
Yeah.
there's, similar themes too, like, I think Megan and Kirstie have both said, like, it didn't happen overnight, kind of thing. So just build, you'll get there. Veronica, did you want to share anything? Or are you good?
I talked about this on my Intuitive Tuesday quite a bit, but not feeling pressured. Like, you can pick it up whenever, like, if you feel like it's dropped off, you can pick it up whenever. Time is not the same thing to spirit. They're not being like, you haven't meditated in 2 weeks or 5 months. Like, there's none of that. So time is a construct. As soon as you are ready to reconnect with spirit and ask them for assistance, they are going to be there. So that's like the biggest thing. And then, like, I circled comparison, because I was like, oh, comparison, like, we don't want to. And Holly, like, expressed it beautifully, but, like, don't compare yourself. Because I remember being like, oh my gosh, when Erin would talk during Spirit Circle, and I'd be like, I'm not saying anything, because I'm like, oh my. And then one day I got the push to pull a card, and suddenly, like, oh, this is how I'm supposed to get messages. I don't need to be the same as the other people. So that's kind of what came up.
I mean, there's
love
6
it.
of us here, and
Thank
we all
you.
connect differently, and
Yeah.
and every mediumship class I took with Heather is different. And how Heather taught me Reiki is the same how she teaches everybody, but I do it differently. Like, but and it took Heather telling me, like, it's okay to make it your own, before I was able to, like, make all of the tools that I use, shamanism and DNA activations and Akashic records. And it took, like, that for me to make all of those things my own. And now I just tell spirit, okay, I think I need to do that. I need you to make it easy. I need to make it affordable, and I need it to be the right person. And I put it out there. Sometimes it's 6 months, sometimes it's 12 months, sometimes it's 3 weeks. Like, and that was just, it took me a long time on my journey to, like, allow, like Heather or like Megan was saying, like, allowing, trusting. Trust is a hard thing, especially when you can't physically see things. And but it's that trust of,
Yeah. And I just want to
Really
say
is.
that
Go ahead, Megan.
rest and integration is a massive part of the spiritual journey. I think we've grown up in cultures that rest is a bad word, and we need it. We need it to learn, and we need to just sometimes take a break, and it's allowed.
They'll force the hand if you choose not to listen. So.
Yeah.
Right? Oh my gosh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I love, what all of you brought forward. I just wanted to reflect as well, like with Veronica, as you were sharing about the Oracle cards. I feel like, and then we're role models, where I just get a sense to it. And I don't know if you remember this, Veronica, but it was really sweet to see new VIPs come on, and they'd see you pull out the Oracle cards, and they'd be like, pulling out their own, like, oh, I can do it that way. And it was really cool to see. I don't know if you remember that, or if that, was apparent to you, but it's really neat that, as we come forward with our own unique gifts, that other people will be like, oh, maybe I can do it that way, and so it's really cool to be able to see. So I just want to thank each and every one of you for being here and for sharing your gifts and sharing your insights. And I feel so honored and so blessed and so just privileged that you are the VIP experts. We have others that weren't able to make it, and so there are others in VIP that can support you as well. So we'd love to have you. And just really take this all in. I feel the audience just take in what we were able to bring forward for you tonight, and also whatever nuggets really resonate with you, take those in and be your own truth. Just allow yourself to be your own truth, because that's what we've all done, and that's why we are where we are at this time. So I'm going to go ahead and just wrap us up with prayer. I love sealing things up with prayer. So Father, Mother, God, guides, angels, masters, teachers, loved ones, saints, galactics, we ask that you please bless this incredible group of VIP experts. Allow each and every one of them to go forth, to prosper, to allow for each and every one of us to be able to carry the light. It is not an easy task. And at the same time, just give us the strength and the courage to do so. Allow us all to be able to inspire and be able to heal and be able to lift others up. And we ask for so many prayers to the collective, to those who may be suffering, and allow for an upliftment, allow for ascension, allow for those who are here to be able to glean the insights that are necessary to inspire and uplift them on their path. We ask that you please allow for each and every one of us to know that with each step forward, we are making the right decisions. Allow us to have the clarity and confidence that is necessary, and allow us to know that our paths are lit up and there are so many doors of opportunity that are opening. We ask all of this in the highest light and love and blessings of all. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Have
you.
a wonderful evening. Mwah. So many
Bye.
blessings. Bye, you guys. See you later. Bye.